Welcome back, humble traders. Today I'll be doing a technical breakdown on ARK Innovation ETF, ticker symbol ARKK. Before I begin, remember take a second to give the video a like and subscribe as it will greatly help out the channel. Do note that I do not provide any buy or sell calls, but focus on the potential trades set up by the market makers. Without further ado, let's take a look at ARK. So once again, ARK is still on a downtrend. Clearly, you can see that when we are below these particular clouds, it shows that we are on a downtrend. Similarly, if we are on an uptrend, then you can clearly see that ARK was in fact above this cloud for a very long period of time. So on an uptrend, corrections are meant for you to add positions rather than to take profit. While on a downtrend, rebounds are not meant to be taken. Rather, they are meant to be an opportunity for you to escape. So where exactly are my upcoming supports for ARK? You can see that this $50 psychological support was broken through. In fact, it did not even hold at all. So now you can see that we are creating lower lows and also lower highs. What does that mean? Since there's a lower high here, there is a lower high here, there's a lower low here, lower low here, and now we're creating lower low. So it's an indication that we are on a downtrend. And when we are on a downtrend, it's better not to go against the trend. So on the way up, the cloud acts as a resistance. On the way down, the cloud acts as support. You can see that ARK was in fact rejected off this particular cloud resistance at around, this was around trading at around 70s. So it is very critical that ARK were to go through these clouds with good volume. Unfortunately, we see that this was met with a very bearish looking candle, and thereafter there was a sell off. So this particular counter continues to remain bearish. Let's take a look at the supports. My next support will be the $40 psychological support. Of course, there's a potential for us to actually bounce off this $45 upcoming support, which is a whole number, it's a psychological support. We may see some bounces coming from this particular 45 and thereafter the 40. However, it being on downtrend, we may potentially just go up. Previous resistance here, previous resistance, previous support here, and previous support will all turn into resistance. So even if we do go up, unfortunately, we will have to face this cloud resistance once again at perhaps around mid 50s at 55, 56, and thereafter we will continue going down because the trend is still down unless we are able to create this thing called a reversal of trend. So if we go up, come down, create a higher low. So this is a higher low compared to this low. Thereafter, we can continue going up. So you can see that there was a potential reversal pattern here, but however, we did not hold this particular support level. And thereafter, we were not able to create a new high. So that is an indication that the trend is still overall bearish. So after this $40 psychological support, you can see that sometime in December 2018, there was this support holding at around 34, 35. So there is some support coming in here. But there is one particular support here that most people wouldn't miss, which is at this low of March 2020. And this low was around perhaps 33, 34. So this is a very, very critical support that many people will be watching. And what market makers would love to do in the event we were to go to these levels here, obviously we won't go down in a straight line. We will tend to form a wave pattern, something like this. So perhaps something like that. Thereafter, we'll hit this 32 support. So what market makers would love to do is, if this is a very strong critical support that everyone will be watching, then I'm afraid they will definitely break down this support. So if they break down to this support, many people will be, or at least the retail investors will be putting their stop losses here. And those who from long turn short, they start to short under this 32, after this 32 support has been broken, because there is very much not any support coming up after this 32. There is no obvious support after this 32. So there will be people who start shorting below this 32 and people who will just give up after this very strong critical support has been broken. So we may be looking at a potential stop hunting at around $28 to $32, which is a very, very critical support for ARK. If we were to continue further down, then I'm afraid this particular ETF is really dead. In fact, it really has fell so much. So there is an indication that this particular ETF is really dead unless there is a reversal of trend. And we can see more buyers stepping in to come back. So if this 32 break, people cut their losses, then potentially we may go back up. And hopefully we can create this pattern, higher highs and higher lows, so we can trend back up. So that is a very critical of a trend reversal, higher highs and higher lows. So overall, the market sentiment is still weak. Even Tesla is also showing signs of weaknesses. So if Tesla were to fall to perhaps 800, 700, 600, net ARK ETF will also fall perhaps to 40s and even 30s level. So we can only hope for the best. And if there's any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget to subscribe as you'll keep the ARKK channel intact. Leave a comment below if you have any other stock tier requests. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.